I came home blackout drunk and tried to make a pizza. Passed out and set the house on fire again instead. No wonder Sharon took the kids and left my ass again. I made $500,000 on a scratch and win, but I blew it all gambling on Korean women's badminton. No wonder Sharon took the kids and left my ass again. The lyrics of Canadian treasure, Canadian icon, Waylon Napadogan. And they make kind of a strange, but I think fun hook to this episode. And it's a way better hook than I went to Toronto to see Burning Witches and nearly frigging died from having to pee so bad looking for a parking spot. I got music on my mind this week, kids, and I'm going to attempt to wax semi-eloquent about some of it after we do the thing. You have no idea how many takes it took for me to do those Waylon Napadogan lyrics for the song No Wonder Sharon Took the Kids and Left My Ass Again. We'll get to Waylon in a minute. I did, in fact, go to Toronto last Thursday night with my pal Stace to see Burning Witches live. And I was wailing. I was wailing hard. By the time we got to the city, I do not tend to drive into the city anymore. I've said before, and I will say again, I will die on this hill whenever possible if you're going into Toronto. Stop somewhere, get on the GO train, take the ride in, okay? Because the drive-in sucks. But worse than the drive-in, I found last Thursday, is trying to find a damn parking spot. It's a crisis, okay? The drive-in was actually not too bad. If you're coming in, and it was rush hour, but if you're coming into the city at rush hour, better than coming out of the city at rush hour. Now, it's not fun. It's like 8 lanes of traffic. There's congestion. There's construction. It is not stressful, and I don't enjoy doing it. But as drives into the city go, not that bad. Problem is trying to find a damn parking spot. Now, the reason you don't take a GO train, there are 2 reasons why you don't take a GO train. A, you've got your drums and you're going in town to play a gig. You can't get those on the GO train all that easily. Second reason is where you're going, your final destination, just doesn't have super convenient access to the GO train or to the subway. Now, I have gone in. Stace and I, again, when we saw the darkness, we went in, took a GO train to Union Station, then took a subway out to where we needed to go. This particular show, Burning Witches, was at the Garrison, really cool rock club in Toronto. I'd never been before. Sweet room, but not super convenient access to public transportation, at least in the way that I understand how to navigate it. So you could get off at Exhibition Stadium. You could do like a half-hour walk to the club, which is okay. But at the end of the night, you don't want to do that walk back to try to get on the GO and get back out to wherever you're going. So I had to bite the bullet. It's like, okay, I really want to see this band. Gonna have to drive into the city. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it, but I will do it. And when I have to, I do. Fine, not that big of an issue. The big issue comes when you have to urinate so frigging badly that you are limping and you just can't make it happen. There's a reason why, if you ever go on a road trip with me, you'll find me stopping to go to the bathroom probably more than you want me to, but it's the legacy of having been on the road and being in the van and having to pee and not being in control of being able to do that. And I've had this happen even long before my road days. I can remember once driving into Montreal, going to a Habs game, I'm sure, getting locked in a Montreal grid like gridlock, which is horrendous. And like, it becomes an emergency. Like, we've all had this experience where we really have to pee and we can't. But it actually becomes an emergency at a certain point. And we reached that point heading into Montreal and stuck in a gridlock, can't get anywhere. Montreal traffic, I think, is worse than Toronto traffic. Finally getting to our hotel and me bursting into the first bathroom I could find to avoid a medical crisis. That scarred me, okay? And I think it's a testament to the power of the human mind. And if you can learn to harness it, fantastic. I haven't got there yet. Harness it for good, I mean. But if I'm now on the road driving anywhere, all I have to do is think about. All I have to do is have the thought about having to go to the bathroom. And it's instantly there. It doesn't matter if I went 10 minutes ago. Instantly, it's there. And I don't know how my body produces all of this. And I also understand that if I could learn to reverse this and make my mind think I don't have to go or anything else, your mind can create amazing stuff if you learn to harness its power. And it's one of the things I need to do better. But I knew going in, those of you who live in Southern Ontario will get the geographical references here. I know that I'm going in 403 QEW, Gardner, okay? Most of you will know what all of that means. You will also know that places to stop are difficult to find on that route. Now, if you take the 401, they have en routes. They have truck stops. You just pull off the highway, do your thing, get back on the highway. 403 QEW Gardner doesn't have that. And so I stopped like 8 times, it feels like, in the hour between where I live and getting onto that traffic situation. But it's like the thought was in my head. I know I'm not going to be able to stop. And the crisis with that is, what if I have to pee? Again, this is the power of your subconscious mind. I suppose the power of your conscious mind. And it really is. I mean, this is a silly story, but there's a deeper truth, a deeper reality to be looked into there, which is the power of your mind to alter circumstances, especially within your body. Not today's topic. Point is, despite my best efforts to empty my bladder, it still came back. And so I'm heading into the city. There's some stop and go. There's some movement. And I don't really understand how this happens. Like, it's a parking lot. Nothing but brake lights for miles. And then all of a sudden, it opens up and you're doing highway speed for like 1.5 kilometers. And then it's gridlock again. I don't understand how traffic works. Traffic amazes me. All right. The highways, the on-ramps, the overpasses all around the city of Toronto amaze me as a feat of engineering. They amaze me as a feat of logistics. It's really friggin' fascinating. But when you're stuck in the middle of it and you're not sure where you're going and you increasingly desperately have to use the bathroom, you're not so much awed by the marvel of modern traffic structures. We're heading to the Garrison, all right? It's in the Ossington, Queen West, Dundas kind of area. A lot of my listeners are musicians who will have played shows on Queen West. You might get the geography from that. And we got to get in there somehow. And as we're getting into the city, we're getting into the Gardner, I just know it's there. I could pee. I could pee very comfortably at this moment. And it says on your GPS that you're 10, 15 minutes from where you're going. Okay, I can hold it that long. And then you're in a traffic jam. Okay, I can breathe through this. It's going to be okay. And then you get off the Gardner and you go a few streets and you get into the neighborhood you're trying to get to. Fantastic. You got to pee more. And your body, again, this is your mind at work. Your mind knows, okay, we're getting closer to destination. And so maybe you begin to relax a little bit. The compression that you've put on your urinary tract so as to not have an accident in your driver's seat. You begin to relax that because you know relief is imminent. But it's not imminent, is it? Because you can't park anywhere in the effing city. It's maddening. If I ever lived in Toronto, there's just no way I would have a car. I really don't think I would have a car because the parking is insane. So we're driving around, and this is the Queen West kind of part of the city, all right? It's very happening. Tons of restaurants, tons of clubs, very social. It's a great part of the city. It's really cool. I've played several shows down there. I've been to shows down there. It's a really happening, vibrant part of the city. None of that matters when you've got to go to the bathroom so bad that it's beginning to hurt. And you know you're in a friggin' crisis. And I'm looking around, and we just cannot find a place to park. Stace is on her phone. She's looking for public lots. We're pulling into public lots, and my bladder's releasing a little bit because it's imminent. And then it's not, because all the parking spots are frigging full. And then you drive, and all the streets are just crammed wall to wall with cars. There's not a single parking spot anywhere. And you pull into another place, and the lot is full, and you pull out, and then you drive around, and you pull in, and you're like, I already pulled in here. And I'm just getting more and more amped and angry. Pretty good setup for a metal show, actually. And it's becoming a crisis. Like, I don't panic all that easily. I'm beginning to. And I realize that if it comes to it, I can just pull over, throw on the four-ways. Hell, it's Toronto. I could probably just pee in an alley if I wanted. But I could run into a restaurant and make this happen. I don't want to do that, and I'm frustrated because I can't find parking. And there's people everywhere, and you're dodging bikes, and you're trying not to run anybody over, and there's streetcars, and there's buses. It's a lot, all right? It is a mental overload, and I don't enjoy it. The older I get, the less I enjoy that level of stimulation. It reminds me of being in Amsterdam a few years ago on tour with the Sarah Band, and we were just sitting at a cafe, Sarah, Ken, Denny, me, just drinking a brewski beer and watching just the insane volume of bicycles going along the canals and the streets around us in Amsterdam. And it's thousands and thousands and thousands of people on bicycles. It's mayhem. And Denny just kind of looks around and says, this is overstimulation. Yeah, it is. And the older I get, the less well I do with overstimulation. Add to that this increasing bladder crisis, this increasing urinary crisis that's happening, that's brewing, and we got a real problem. So finally we find a parking garage. All right, it's at the very bottom of Ossington and Queen West, I think. You've probably parked there. I have before. We get there. We get into it. Great. We don't care how much it costs at this point. We park. Fantastic. And I'm limping. Literally limping because my bladder is so full and it's a crisis. Hope you're enjoying this story, by the way. And you got to go to the ticket machine to get your ticket to put in the window. Terrific. I put in my card. Cannot read card. Put in another card. Cannot read card. I can't take this. Guy comes along and says, hey, that machine over there works better. Go over to that, a limp, quite literally limp over to that machine. Put in card. Cannot read card. And I'm like, you can't be serious right now. You can't be serious with what's happening right now. Can't find a friggin' parking spot. Can't pay for one. Can't get to a bathroom. Luckily, Stace puts in her card and it works. Thank Buddha. Get our parking ticket, put it in the window. We're like, ah. And then we notice as we're limping out of there, no parking garage access between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Oh, we're about to go to a club show. Does that mean if they go on late, we're going to have to ditch the show because we can't get back into the friggin' parking garage? Another problem, but one I am more than willing to put off until I can solve the most impending crisis. So we limp up Ossington Street, and I'm just looking for any place I can go into, and every place is packed. Every restaurant is packed. Every cafe is packed. There's lines. It's like, I don't know what's going on. It was like the first nice evening, and everybody was just out in it, basking. Couldn't get in any place. Then down the street, I spy a pizza by the slice joint, and I'm like, 2 birds, 1 stone. A, pizza, always a good idea. B, bathroom. And so I beeline for it, limping like the Elephant Man down the street. And I burst in, and I says, we will get pizza, but please do you have a bathroom? And the kid says, we don't have a bathroom. Is that even legal? I don't even think that's legal. And again, once you think it's imminent, your body begins to go into relief mode, and it gets worse. And I'm like, Stacy has to basically fireman's carry me up the street. We walk past a Cuban restaurant. I look inside. There is one table empty, table for dose. I'm like, that's it. Bust in there, sit down. Waiter comes, gives us menu. Thank you very much. And I lurch. I lurch. And it's a Toronto restaurant. So you go to the back, and then you got to go down 2 flights of stairs, and you go down, and there are 2 beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous, heavenly washrooms, both doors shut and locked. And I'm ready to call a paramedic at this point. Let me in. I'm going to die. And I can hear several women inside one of the bathrooms, unisex washrooms, just laughing. Just laughing. What are you doing in there? Get out! And I knock on the door and nothing happens. And I'm as close as I've come probably to an out-of-body experience at this point. And then, thankfully, the other washroom door opens and some dude strolls out. And I stagger and stumble in there and do what I gotta do for what felt like, I don't know, an hour. And the great thing about a crisis like that is the relief that follows. I've done 16 minutes on having to go to the bathroom. I think that's a record in the podcast sphere. Don't quote me on that, but if they're giving out some sort of podcasty award for the longest sequence on having to go pee, I think I'm a shoo-in for that. Did it, fine. Had a fantastic Cuban burger with jalapeno on it, rice and beans. Terrific restaurant. Super. Then we actually went to the damn show. And I barely remember parts of it. I'm so locked into and so re-traumatized by that urine thing. I wanted to go see Burning Witches because of Laura Guldemond. Now, I've talked about this band on the show several times over the past few years since I first encountered them. They are ostensibly a heavy metal band, power metal band from Switzerland, although I don't think all of the members these days are from Switzerland, but that's home base. Laura Guldemond, the singer, Swiss, and as you've heard me say before, just a staggering voice. I've just talked before about how do you do this? How do you have such power and such range? I mean, I'm really fascinated by 2 types of musicians. One is guitar players. I play a few chords, but I have no real natural inclination for the guitar. I hit the wrong damn strings all the time. I don't know how people do it. It's like when I go to King's X, I don't position myself where I can watch Jerry play the drums. I position myself right in front of Ty Tabor, and I watch him play guitar, and I'm mesmerized. I'm fascinated by guitar players because I'm not one. In the same way, I'm fascinated by visual artists because I'm not one. I'm also fascinated by singers. Now, I'm an okay singer, right? I can carry a tune, but there's singers and there are singers, right? Laura Guldemond has this voice that is an explosion. It's unbelievable, and I've heard it on their studio tracks, The Dark Tower being the first one I really encountered, then their most recent record, Inquisition, the title track, Inquisition. Those are two songs that really demonstrate just the sheer magnificent power of Laura Guldemond's voice. And I'm like, she's amazing. Can she do it live? And I love the music, don't get me wrong. I think they write great songs. I think they're a great band. But I wanted to know, and I wanted to hear, and I wanted to experience Laura Guldemond live. And I thought it might be unlikely that I would ever get that chance. But then the Inquisition tour, they came to North America for the first time. And they did 25 dates. The Toronto show at the Garrison was the last show of the tour. Great. Well-oiled machine, right? So they've been playing for a couple months around North America. She's been out 25 nights doing this. And I wanted to know, can Laura Guldemond live sound like Laura Guldemond? Well, I got a secret for you, kids. Yeah, the answer is yes. unfrigging real. I was about to say unbelievable, but no, you can believe it. She was so good. They were so good. The opening band was called Thunderroar. I don't know how they say it exactly. Thunderor, Thunderer or Thunderroar. Again, like a stoner metal kind of band. Drummer was the lead singer. That's compelling for me. 3-piece. A lot of fun. We came in and we caught the last 3 or 4 songs of their set. Super, that's great. And they were fun and cool. And then at 9:50 on the button, out came Burning Witches. And what a great show. I haven't been to a metal show in quite a long time. I mean, The Darkness has slight metal edges to it, but more of a hard rock band. This is a metal band, all right? Power metal, heavy metal. And I know it's an all-girl band, but I don't focus on that. For me, they're just players, and they're great. And can Laura Guldemond be Laura Guldemond live? And the answer is a resounding yes. They were so good. I mean, everybody in that band is a killer. Courtney Cox, a guitar player you may have heard of, not the actress from Friends. And they were just great. They were just great. They sounded great. They played great. Really killer players. And then Laura was just an animal, just a beast. And I say that in the most complimentary way. Laura Guldemond, I posted when Inquisition came out, the record last year. I posted on Instagram a story that said, New Burning Witches, Laura Guldemond is God, or should be. And she reposted that, which I found really, really delightful. And I stand by it. She should be God. I mean, if we're auditioning for God right now, why not Laura Guldemond? Or your doctor? She was fantastic. And they did The Dark Tower, which is the title track from their last record. And I was waiting for it because on the chorus of that song, I mean, she sings the verses with enormous power, but the chorus is where she gets the high notes, right? I'm like, all right, Laura, hit me with full power, those notes in the chorus to The Dark Tower. And boy, howdy, did she. Every damn note, just full power, full voice, hit every note, just crushed it. This is 25 shows in, man. Crushed it. And then they played a bunch of stuff from the new record, including the title track Inquisition, which again has that just full range, full volume. And she hit everything. She hit absolutely everything. And it was so fun. It was just a lot of fun. And once in a while, a couple of times, this kind of tiny pit opened up, and I'm like way too old for pits. Not my interest whatsoever. And I found it very strange, actually, because Burning Witches is not a band from back in the day. They sound like a band from back in the day. Like they have riffs that remind of Slayer. They have riffs that remind of Anthrax. They are distinctly kind of a throwback thrash / power metal sound. I mean, a lot of people like them of my vintage because they have a distinctly 80s kind of flavor to their sound. And almost everybody in the audience was mature. The reason there wasn't a bigger pit is because most of the people in the audience were around my age, and we don't pit anymore. We're there to listen. We're there to experience. We're not there to throw ourselves into other people. A couple of younger people tried to do that a couple times. It petered out. And everybody else in the audience, though, the Garrison is a small club, holds about 300 people. I would guesstimate 200 in attendance. Okay, they deserve a bigger audience than that. And when they come around again, they'll probably have one. But a very jovial crowd. A lot of older people, though, which I really find fascinating. It's like, okay, there's still some older folks like me who are discovering new music, discovering new bands, and going out to support it. That's cool and encouraging for those of us who are still playing music with older people and whatever. There's still an audience for it. That's fantastic. And they were just great. They were just great. They also played the ballad from the new album called Release Me, which is Laura singing in quieter tones. And again, I've said before, not everybody can do that. Not everybody can belt, but also sing quietly. Some people can just belt and have no quiet voice. Some people have the quiet voice but don't have the levels that they can push it to. Laura has everything. And you just wonder how. How do you do this? We all have a larynx. We all have vocal folds. What is it about hers? What is it about her diaphragm that allows her to just come with this much power? It's really fantastic. It's amazing. I don't use the word amazing lightly, but it genuinely was amazing. You just step back and listen to this person's instrument, which is her voice. And I know she has enormous technique. I know she has enormous control, but the fundamentals have to be there, I think. And she just has them. Some people just have stuff, you know. I have this innate natural ability to speak for 18 minutes about having to go to the bathroom badly. That's my superpower. Now, I've had to hone it. I've had to develop some technique, but the fundamental was there. Probably as an 8-year-old, I was able to talk for 18 minutes, maybe 12, about having to urinate very badly. I suspect as an 8-year-old, Laura Guldemond already had the pitch, the tonality. She had to grow into it. She had to develop it. She had to learn technique to be able to unleash the full beast. But unleash it she has, and unleash it she does. And so they did Inquisition, and they came to that big chorus. There are a couple of like screams in that song. I'm like, is she going to do it? Is she going to do it? Yep. She's gonna, and I got the receipts. If you catch me on the street, I've got some video, all right? I was so impressed, and it was really fun. It was just a fun show. It's like metal comes off as all scary. They're called burning witches, for crying out loud. But it was like a lot of fun, a lot of smiling, a lot of laughter, celebration. And that is the metal world for the most part, you know. I mean, metal comes off as very scary, but it's also notorious in the best possible way for its conviviality, for the community of metal. And I felt that in that little club. The band was having fun, the crowd was having fun, and they played and sounded great. And I'm so glad I went. I got the urine story. Always good to get a story. And then I also just had a really uplifting night with a close friend and going to see a band that's just playing at an amazing level. And it was really fun. And I recommend, especially if you're into hard rock metal and you've not checked out Burning Witches yet, do so. I'm going to put a couple of tracks on this year's podcast playlist on Spotify. I'll put The Dark Tower, I'll put Inquisition, because those are the ones that I think really demonstrate Laura's vocal prowess, her ability. They've appeared on other playlists. If you haven't checked out the playlists, maybe you haven't heard them, and you should. Now, if you're into the metal, you really should be checking out Burning Witches. It was a fantastic show. I'm so glad that I went, even though I'm not so good at 3 o'clock in the morning anymore. This is disconcerting. This is difficult to find out. It could be just that I'm out of practice. And I was playing more gigs. I had more gigs that had me out of the city and had me getting home at 3 in the morning. And those of you who are musicians know this game. Getting home at 3 a.m. from the gig and then getting up to go to work for 8:30. That's a rough one. Much caffeine required. I don't do that so well. I'm out of practice. I haven't had one of those in a while. And it used to be like you did those regularly. Maybe you built up a sort of a tolerance. I don't know. Or maybe you're just in the zone. You know, that happens on the road, right? The road is incredibly demanding physically, incredibly demanding mentally, incredibly exhausting. The road is a grind, man, especially if, like the Sarah band, you don't really take days off. I never tire of telling the story about landing in Amsterdam on the red eye, picking up our gear, and then playing 19 nights in a row. 19 in a row. And it's just incredibly demanding, but you get into kind of a rhythm with it. It's like, okay, we're not sleeping much. Van call, well, hotel breakfast call is 7:30. Van call is 9, probably, depending on where we're going. Get in the van, drive, do the thing. And that just becomes a daily routine. And I think you build a rhythm. I think you build a tolerance. I think you just kind of get lost in the relentless, ceaseless demands of the road. And so you acclimatize. I'm not acclimatized to 3 a.m. anymore. Back when I was playing a lot more gigs, that was more common, and you, I think, become used to it. I'm telling myself that in lieu of saying, you're 52 and you just can't do it anymore. Last week, when I went with Wolf to see Pussifer, it was like a 2 a.m. get home thing, 2:30, go to bed. And it's like delayed onset exhaustion. It's like when you work out and you feel your muscles a little bit the next day, but then 2 days later, you can't walk. So it is with late night exhaustion for me now, I think. It's like the next day I feel a little bit rough. Maybe I'm still riding in adrenaline. But then 2 days after that, it's like I've been sledgehammered, you know? That happens on the road too, but the show must go on. It's like you just have to flip your mindset. You just have to get into the zone. There's a weird zone. I caught burning witches at the peak of the zone. I think they were probably burning zombies when they got on the plane to fly home the next day. It's like I'm out of that rhythm, right? And so getting home at 3 a.m. or whatever really knocks me for a loop. A couple of days later, I'm just a waste case. It's like, what happened? Oh, yeah. I was out late. Weird to see how that happens, you know. But highly, highly, highly recommending Burning Witches as a listening experience, as a live experience, and just to go hear somebody like Laura Guldemond do that thing that she does. You know, different musicians amaze you in different ways. I talked about seeing Jose Gonzalez, I don't know, 20 years ago probably at the Mod Club, leaned on the stage front and center, and just one dude, one microphone, one classical guitar. And that's a kind of amazing, right? Amazing for its understatement, amazing for its moods. Laura Guldemond is a different thing. Burning Witches is a different thing. Amazing for the power, amazing for the technical prowess. Amazing. And it's fun to be amazed. Now, I was texting this morning with our old pal Kay Howell, and I will not give you the context of that conversation, but at a certain point, I said to her, I love amazing. I need amazing. The world right now needs amazing. And that's amazing in terms of the way circumstances can unfold. But we also need, I think, at times to be amazed just by how great people can be. I think we need to be amazed at people's talent. I think we need to be amazed at our own talent. A lot of time we overlook that. I'm no Laura Guldemond in any sense, but I doubt, particularly in English, that she could do 18 minutes on having to pee very badly. We must acknowledge what's amazing about each of us, kids. And that Burning Witches show was amazing, and Laura was amazing, and I highly recommend you check them out. I didn't expect to do 33 minutes on urine and Burning Witches. So there's other stuff that I was going to talk about, some of which I'll drop right now. But as I opened with Waylon Napadogan, I guess we got to talk about Waylon Napadogan, which is just another level of amazing, kids. Now, if what you need right now is not the unbridled, ceaseless, unrelenting power of Burning Witches and Laura Guldemond, maybe what you need is a laugh. Lord knows we all need a friggin' laugh these days. And so I present to you Waylon Napadogan, an East Coast Canada singer-songwriter. Waylon Napadogan is a stage name. I'm not going to give away the artist's real name. And how do I describe this? This is Steel Panther for the Americana crowd in a certain way. The song that I read the lyrics from, No Wonder Sharon Took the Kids and Left My Ass Again, is a very good illustration, musically and lyrically, of what Waylon Napadogan is about. The narrator of these songs is the quintessential, stereotypical Canadian hoser waist case. Steel Panther sings almost exclusively and in the filthiest possible terms about sex. That's the joke. Waylon Napadogan, that character is a complete waste case. The songs are mostly about drugs and about screwing up relationships in the worst possible way. And they are, again, Steel Panther works because the music is so good, right? Steel Panther works because the music and the musicianship is legit. I mean, you could drop more serious lyrics onto any of those songs and they would still be great. What makes them Steel Panther is the lyrics are so juvenile and so funny. Ditto Waylon Napadogan. You could drop serious lyrics onto any of these songs and they would still be great because musically it's far more Americana folk, more singer-songwriter stuff, a little bit country edge to some of it. The music is fantastic. The lyrics make it Waylon Napadogan, and they're so damn funny. And they are all the expression of just the biggest possible Canadian hoser loser. And they're fantastic. No wonder Sharon took the kids and left my ass again. I started flying up bushels of Peruvian weed up from Guatemala City into Calgary. I got caught up in customs with a border guard. I tried to bribe him with an expired Tim Hortons gift card. He did not accept, and I got tossed in the pen. No wonder Sharon took the kids and left my ass again. This guy's fantastic. This guy's fantastic, and I would like to know the story. Because obviously there's a serious songwriter in there, and it's like, did you try? Like, did you spend a certain period of your creative life writing serious songs and trying to find your way into the mainstream with them? And then at a certain point, you're like, this isn't working. Screw it. Let's adopt this persona of Waylon Napadogan and write these hilarious songs written from the perspective of this complete loser waste case and see what happens for fun. Or was it a joke? Was it a drunken binge and then it took off? It's like, wow, this is actually working. The songs are so good musically. The songs are just so funny at the same time. And they get existential. A few lines from the poignant ballad, Stuck in a Porta Potty. Stuck in a porta potty, high as shit on hallucinogens. And these four blue walls that surround me are closing in. Stuck in a porta potty, tripping balls in a big old blue bin, trying to figure out how it happened again. And I've been calling for help, but there's no one around. And I'm learning to accept this may be my home now. They say that I'm occupying this body, but really this body's been occupying me. Yeah, I've been calling for help, but there's no one around. And I'm learning to accept this may be my home now. They say that I'm occupying this body, but really this body's been occupying me. Yep, ain't we all been there? Stuck in a porta potty on mushrooms, can't find your way out, having an existential crisis. Speaks to the heart of the matter, kids. Speaks to the heart of the matter. How about a poignant love song? I was looking for love all over these parts. Wasn't at the liquor store, wasn't at the Walmart. I was ready to give up on the day I saw you, hun, doing burnouts in the Burger King parking lot, and I knew you were the one. I want to treat you right, take you out to dinner. How about Donairs down by the river? We could watch a movie, get a little crazy. Maybe Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. He plays a bouncer at a rough club. Then him and Dr. Clay fall in love. That could be us. We could fall in love too. I could be your Patrick Swayze if you want me to. Baby, you could have my whole heart. Baby, you could bum my last dart. That's baby, you could bum my last dart. And ain't it heartfelt? Doesn't it really speak to that new relationship? Waylon Napadogan. But I'm going to give you the lyrics to my favorite Waylon song. One that, should we ever have it as a karaoke option, I will be happy to perform for you. And this is cross-check directly to the heart. This is as Canadian as it gets, kids. Best be gone by tomorrow. Those were the words she said. And no, I ain't crying about her. I was thinking about something else really sad. And now the weed ain't even working the way it always has. High as shit watching Hockey Night in Canada, and I'm still feeling sad. You said to me, what'd you do this time? It's got you feeling blue. And I looked back and replied, she cross-checked my heart. High-sticked my feelings, speared my balls. The girl left me reeling. Slashed my soul right to the core. Fought my ex, but that ain't a metaphor. Elbowed my hopes, headbutt my dreams. Too many men, if you know what I mean. She gave me a cross-check directly to the heart. Now I'm out playing Tuesday Beer League. 15 Alpines deep. Took a run at the opposing goalie. Took a swing at the referee. He said to me, what's your problem, man? I said, let me put it to you in a way you'll understand. Is YouTube going to flag me for copyright violation? Should I have changed the key? We'll find out. What am I saying? Waylon Napadogan. If you need a friggin' laugh, go listen to Waylon Napadogan. Canadian, can, so can. And just funny. Just funny, but it works because the music is so good. And that is the key. And I don't think we give enough credit to people who can write funny. Maybe I should try to write funny. I can't write funny. I can be funny off the cuff. I can make a witty rejoinder. I can't be intentionally funny, and I'm amazed. I'm amazed by guitar players, singers, and comedians. People who can be intentionally funny. I can't do that. I can't set up a joke. I can only react. Waylon Napadogan, such funny stuff, but such good songs. So if you're into that kind of, I don't even know who to compare him to, singer-songwriter stuff, alt country, Americana, and with a Canadian edge that you will recognize as a Canadian person. Getting stoned behind the Tim Hortons, that's a good one. High on weed, that's a good one. 98 Pontiac Sunfire, that speaks to the heart of relationships. Really, really great stuff, really, really funny stuff. And I don't know if I've given you anything of substance today, but sometimes you just need a 45-minute distraction. Sometimes you just need to be pulled out of reality for a little while. Maybe I've done that for you. And if you want to go further, Waylon Napadogan. And if you want to crush your own friggin' skull, go listen to Burning Witches. I guess that's it. Guess that's it for this week. We did it. We did 18 minutes on urine, and I think we all deserve a round of applause for that. Want to thank you ever so much for listening. Again, as always, could use some ratings and reviews on Apple, on Spotify. They really do help. They really do help me fight against the tide of celebrity podcasts that are backed by big money, big marketing budgets, and tend to steamroll the little indies like me. I hope you are well. Good things happen when you put yourself out there. Go Habs, go. Come on, you Gunners. And I will talk to you very soon.